If you've ever shopped for a new set of sheets, you've probably noticed that most sheets, especially if they're claiming to be high quality, will list the thread count. Thread counts can vary from the 200s all the way into the thousands. But what does it all mean? Is more threads better? Does it really make a difference? Hey there, I'm Amelia from Sleepopolis, and I test and write about sleep and bedding products for a living. Today I'm going to break down the reality of thread count for you so that next time you're shopping for sheets, you'll be prepared. Speaking of shopping for sheets, we have a ton of reviews of sheets here on our YouTube channel and over at sleepopolis.com. Click the link in the description to see some of our favorites. But for now, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. So what is a thread count exactly? Well, it is literally the count or number of threads in a square inch of fabric. That number is calculated by adding the number of vertical threads to the number of horizontal threads, or the warp and the weft, to use weaving terminology. Another way you could think about thread count is that it's a measure of how tightly woven a fabric is. More threads means more tightly woven, and less threads is less tightly woven. The number of horizontal and vertical threads can be the same or different. You could have 300 threads running left to right and 200 up and down, which would be a 500 thread count. Or you could have 250 in each direction, which would also be a 500 thread count. Now that we know what a thread count is, let's talk about its significance. It's a commonly held belief that a higher thread count is always better, but that's not necessarily so. Since a thread count is simply a measure of how many threads are in a square inch, it really depends what material those threads are made of. For example, a wool blanket could have a really high thread count, but it's never going to feel as soft as a cotton fabric, even if that cotton fabric has a lower thread count. And even among cotton and other smoother fabrics, the length of fibers can make a big difference. Cotton can be either long staple or short staple. Long staple is more expensive, but is softer, smoother, and more durable. So you could have a high thread count, but if it's made with short staple cotton, you may not be getting the high quality product that you think you're getting. You also want to consider the weave of your sheets. For example, percale sheets are known for being lightweight, crisp, and breathable, and they're naturally going to have a lower thread count than another style of weave, sateen sheets, which uses more thread to create a thicker, smoother, and more satiny feel. Or you could have a linen sheet, which will have a much lower thread count as they have a much looser weave and are extremely breathable and light. Plus, not all sheets even have a thread count. For example, you could have sheets made from a material like flannel or silk that aren't going to be measured with a thread count and instead will be measured with a weight-based measurement for softness. Or you have fabrics like jersey, which are a knit fabric that don't have a thread count at all. So with all that in mind, there isn't really a best thread count for sheets. Thread count is simply one thing you want to look at when you're shopping for sheets. However, you can generally expect good quality sheets to be somewhere in the 200 to 600 thread count range depending on the style of sheet they are. If the thread count is all the way in the thousands, odds are the numbers are being fudged a bit by using 2 or 3 ply threads. To break that down by weave type, for good quality sateen, you can generally expect the thread count to be around 300 to 600. For good quality percale sheets, you generally want to look for 180 to 300. And for linen sheets, you want to look for around 80 to 130. Well folks, that's all for today's video on thread count. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you do have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments. Now, if you do happen to be shopping for sheets right now, you should check out some of our reviews here on our YouTube channel and over at sleepopolis.com. We've reviewed a ton of sheets and we break down everything you need to know, so check those out. Click the link in the description to see some of our favorites. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!